once in a lifetime thing. That moment is never gonna happen again. You can't just do another take. These artists are gonna trust me because I've done this a million times.
That's Lanre, a tour videographer turned music content agency owner who's worked and toured with some of the biggest DJs in the world like Fisher, John Summit, Disco Lions, and Adriatique.
The thing I had to learn was how to do it in a high pressure environment, no sleep, around big influential people. I look back on that like it's still one of the hardest jobs I've ever had.
In this episode, Lanre pulls back the curtain on what it takes to thrive as a creative in the music space and why flashy edits and talent are only a fraction of the equation.
Energy is kind of everything, especially when you're touring. You can't have someone in your crew that's always a Debbie Downer. You're just making your artist's life harder. You're making everyone on the team's life harder.
He talks about the pressure that comes with shooting massive shows and why trust is truly what creates long-term opportunities.
You gotta be damn good at your job. That needs to be undeniable. There's no personality hire in this. Your content's not getting done. What are you doing here?
Today, Lanre opens up about making the jump from tour videographer to agency owner and how his agency has actually helped create opportunities for the next wave of creatives.
There are people who are better at me that don't necessarily have the same opportunities that I do. Now I'm in a position where I can give them opportunities that I wish I had when I was starting out.
Okay, 1 minute crack. Here we go. Ready? Bang.
Oh boy.
Dude,
oh boy.
That was money. That was money.
A lot of spillage, dude.
Dude, barely any.
All right, so I know it's been a while, but
I think that's a 7-9.
finger not under the thing.
You dented it.
Oh, but it was so...
That was terrible. That was horrible.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, double dent.
Double dent. Dude, 3.1.
I have not been practicing.
Come
so
on.
here we go.
Yep, bang. You're good.
Oh!
But he dented it.
dent.
Double
It was a
dent,
dent.
dude.
Oh, double? Yeah.
3.3 in the
the
corner.
cans.
All right.
It's the cans, dude. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome
Salud,
back.
brother.
So you told me it's been 3 years since the last 505 pod that we did.
It has been 3 years.
Back then, we were touring with Fisher, right? Then we go on, we're touring with John Summit, and now we've transitioned from being a solo photo video person to making a company.
Correct.
What happened in that time period between the end of like the John Summit run to like, I want to make a company, I want this to be more sustainable. Like talk to us about that, because I think a lot of people listening might be in that first era right now, and they don't really see this end picture.
Yeah.
So what's that been like?
I mean, it's not so much an end picture as like a kind of just an evolution or the next step in I guess anyone's career. It's kind of a subjective thing. But from where I was with touring with Fisher, it was a lot of just ton of time on the road, doing a ton of shows, like 5-6 shows a week sometimes in different countries, and just like it was a real grind. And it went from me just trying to figure it out as I went to kind of figuring out a system that worked for me to always be able to get the content out no matter how tired I was or how like how little time I had to do it. It was just like it kind of just became second nature. And then with John, it was a different kind of landscape because we were working with a lot more people on the media side. So it was a lot of learning how to work within a bigger operation in terms of media people. How to hire media people and how to work and how to, shoot different stages and, different challenges like that. And then, now with this new endeavor that I'm trying to build is taking all the things that I've learned over the last 3 years from working with the biggest artists in the world to, okay, how can I, one, delegate the work to service more people and also bring media people in that don't necessarily have that experience that I can teach and, further their careers and give them opportunities that I wish I had when I was starting out.
I have PTSD. I'm just thinking about
The lobby call.
Oh my God.
Lobby calls,
and
man.
What's crazy about your experience touring versus mine is the farthest abroad I went was Mexico for spring break, which is about a 2-hour flight to Mexico.
Yeah, you're jetting across the world.
You've done it to where you're going, country to country.
Yeah.
Did you ever go continent to continent?
Yes.
It's insane.
Yeah. I think the longest trip that I had ever taken was with Fisher. We had a show in Argentina, and then we had to fly to Tokyo from there. So
the bottom over here, just
like the complete opposite way around.
Yeah.
So like from, I mean, I don't know if we took the most efficient routing, but when you're in California, you can kind of just go backwards and get to Japan.
Sure.
But we had to fly from Argentina to Amsterdam, which is a 13.5-hour flight.
refuel.
Yeah. Well, no, like get on another plane. But and then from Amsterdam to Tokyo, which was another 13.5-hour flight back to back.
Bro.
Yeah.
You were a day up there? You guys doing
Yeah.
stretches on the plane, like in the middle?
Oh no, man!
You're
I
just-
wish
He's
dude.
editing.
You're just knocked out.
Trying to
dude.
edit with my the person in front of me who has like the reclined seat. And I'm just like trying to edit.
Oh my god!
But like, especially for that one, I was like, I don't know. Like sometimes I'd get like, oh man, like this flight's kind of long. This kind of sucks. I was going to Tokyo for the first time. I didn't care.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I could have been on that flight for 50 hours. You know what I mean?
What was the biggest change of the actual process to making it make sense for you to get it out fast? Because like I remember same thing at the Lakers. It was like trying to learn how you can get it out like as good as possible, also as quick as possible. So
Mhm.
what changed that you were like when you ended? This is actually the most solid way that I thought to get out content for them. Like, were you marking clips while you were shooting? Like, how was that process?
Yeah, I tried to do that, but then I kind of I don't know why I never like super went into the whole followed through with the marking content stuff. It was kind of just I would dump everything and then kind of already have it logged in my brain, like which moments were the biggest moments. But I was for the most part kind of editing full sets because we would chop up every single song and then deliver that, and then he would literally watch the entire thing as if he was watching his set back. He was very very like particular and like hardworking about like, okay, how did this reaction, like how did the first drop of this song, how did the second drop of this song, how were the reactions like, you know?
Oh,
what
so
I mean?
it's like a science to it between like the songs and how the crowd goes. And how-
Exactly.
wow.
And choosing which edits that he wants to post in like a carousel and
Mhm.
what order.
Yeah.
The what's the like the multicam edits
Mhm.
of certain drops that kind of became a newer thing. I remember when I was touring with Loud Luxury, we toyed around with posting certain songs and drops and they would do carousels, but
Mhm.
over the past couple years, I feel like the multicam content has really become like a thing that a lot of artists are doing, specifically DJs. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it used to be somewhat of a luxury
Yeah.
doing multicam or like seeing any kind of performance from, real-time switching of cameras. I think a lot of us growing up, like going to festivals and stuff would like see, like the ultra live stream or like the EDC live stream, right? And then at least for me, I would always be like, oh, like, because they're cutting it live, but I would always think if I had full control over this, I could make it really compelling, could cut at the exact moment I wanted and all this stuff. But then, as time went on, it went from, because most of what I was doing with Fisher in the beginning was just single angle stuff and then recaps and edits. And then, the recap space kind of started to die. It wasn't getting as many views. And then multicam started becoming more and more of a thing. And so it kind of went from, only the biggest artists doing multicams to now it's pretty much a staple of any artist. It's become so widely adopted. People have taken like the medium and gone crazy with it, like VHS cameras and FPVs and, just there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. But yeah, it's definitely become the most prominent thing in music content, kind of the thing I spend the most of my time doing.
Talk to me about the biggest difference between the operation with touring with Fisher versus with John Summit. What did you learn from your time touring with Fisher? Because I remember you shared on the first time you were on the show, you shared the story of the first ever time you did a show. You had, I think, 8 batteries. You were in Miami. You shot like who knows how long, like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And
That's insane.
thinking about, Lanre then, I remember you specifically saying, I just need an artist to give me a chance. And I know that I can prove myself.
Yeah.
So what did you learn through the process of touring with Fisher, going from, I just want someone to give me a chance, to then being super dialed to where you were, leading the team at Coachella for Chris Lake and Fisher? And what did you learn from that process? What did you take into touring with John? And how did it differ? Like what translated? And then what new skills did you have to learn when touring with John Summit?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, like I was in that position of like knowing that I had the skills to do this kind of content, but just needing someone to give me a chance. So Fisher gave me that chance, like my first ever big break, and like kind of really put me into this industry. And I did have the skills to do it. You know what I mean? I was never really, self-conscious about that or like second guessing myself when it came to like me being able to do it. But it was the thing I had to learn was how to do it in a high pressure environment on no sleep around, big influential people, how to carry yourself, how to manage your time, and how to really not get burnt out. And that was a huge grind, you know, like I look back on that, like it's still one of the hardest jobs I've ever had, you know, and taking the things that I learned from that. And then, you know, when I started touring with John, I think that prior experience of, you know, going through the grind and because like with John, it was a much lighter touring schedule. We weren't doing 5 shows a week. We weren't doing a ton of like 4-hour sets in the middle of the night, you know. So taking, you know, my experience from doing those, you know, longer kind of grindier hours, and then, you know, bringing that efficiency to a lighter schedule, I think just pushed it even further, you know, made it a lot easier. But what I took from touring with Fish was that experience with the grind. But with Fish, it was a lot of just me in terms of the media team for the majority of my time touring with them. And then eventually we brought somebody else on. But then when I started working with John, there was already a media team there. Like there was 5 of us at least on the first show that we did. And so it was more so like finding my role, finding like where I fit in best and how I can, you know, help other people on our team achieve the goal that we want. And then, yeah, I think that was probably the biggest thing that was the difference between the two, was taking my skills and learning how to service a larger team, something bigger than myself. And then, but also having the experience of a much heavier schedule that let me be more efficient with more time and more resources.
Flag on the play.
What's going on, Fig?
Okay, you guys know the biggest problem with using any sort of AI software is you hit the token max.
Oh, that sucks.
Drives me absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But today, Artlist just solved that problem with Artlist Unlimited. Okay, you ready for this?
Tell me about it.
Using their best models, you can now generate unlimited prompts. That way you can test, you can learn, and you don't have to worry about running out of tokens because it's the biggest pain ever. This works with the Artlist AI Toolkit as well as the Artlist Studio app. So all you got to do is toggle on Unlimited. And if you don't have an account, on the top link in the description, you get 2 months for free as well as unlimited if you sign up for that link. So go check it out and let's continue with the episode.
Can you relate to that with when you came to work for the Lakers?
Yeah, I feel like it was like at Oregon, it was just like a free for all. We're just like, make stuff.
Yeah.
Make cool stuff. And then you get into this team and you're like, wow, there's like, all right, there's like this person's good at this thing. I need to like own my role and be like really good at this specific thing. You know, I think that was like the bigger differences. What do you feel like from a pricing perspective, from someone who's like getting into concerts? Is it a day rate? Like, help people understand how this works so they don't make mistakes. Like, is it if do I have a show fee and then is it a travel fee? If you're a smaller artist, are you just getting? Is it just obviously like a much smaller rate?
Yeah.
What does that world look like for people?
Well, it does really come down to, I guess, your leverage in terms of your reputation and your experience and your skill set. You know, like you can't really name your price in the beginning. It's more so like
$900.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like, we have $5. You're like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Done. Deal.
All the first shows I was doing, like in the very beginning, were for free. You know what I mean? I was just excited to you know, get a chance to do something and like actually learn how to do, you know, this job.
Does that fuck up the industry though, low key?
In a way, yes, because it is a very saturated market of people, and there are, you know, plenty of people who think, oh, like if I just buy a camera, then, you know, I'll get an all access pass. I'll get to fucking drink with the DJs and like be this cool guy. Like, you just give me a festival band. I don't need to get paid. You know, like there's a lot of people who do that, and it does fuck up, I guess, you know, the market for, you know, people who take this seriously, because
like the people that are actually doing a career out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because these artists can be like, okay, like if these people are willing to do it for free, and maybe I don't have the budget to, you know, spend on someone who wants $1,000, I'm gonna go to the guy to do it for free. You know what I mean? And so, but you know,
do you think it's like a skill thing though as well, right? That's like, I've worked with these DJs. This is what I can do. It's not just like I'm there with my camera, which is probably like most of the little rocks with their little camera.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, oh, I'm just gonna make an edit. It's like, that's like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Like it's good to know, like, obviously, like the landscape and the context of what people are posting and what social media is looking like, especially in the music scene. And, you know, these kids that are, you know, not really taking it seriously and doing it for free or whatever,
Yeah.
they're never gonna last.
Yeah.
They never do last. They come and go, and then they find so whatever else to do. But the people who do take it seriously, that shows.
Yeah.
And those are the people that you will be dealing with in the beginning. Okay, like I don't have as much of a reputation or a portfolio. Then you'll be dealing with getting no rate or low rates for a while, but then over time you keep going. Eventually the work will speak for itself. Eventually people will trust you enough to be like, okay, what is your rate in terms of, okay, here's how much I'm willing to pay you,
So it's for the most part, it's a day rate situation within a travel rate of sorts.
Yeah. So I'd say, at the beginning, it's very much day rate based.
Okay.
Travel rates and per diems, those come in when you're
Bigger artists and whatnot.
bigger artists, or when you're when you have more of a time commitment, when you're on tour, right? If you're gonna go do like a 3-week run,
I see.
you know what I mean? You kind of got to take care of your off days, your travel days, your per diems, things like that. It's like that becomes more than just a day rate. But if you're just going to do like a festival set or a club set and it's like a one-off, then you're just getting your day rate for that for the most part.
I remember the first time someone told me about getting half a show rate for travel day. I go,
wait, what?
What? I know we were getting paid here, man.
okay, have you seen the movie We're the Millers?
Yeah. Wait, you guys are getting paid? You guys are getting paid? What's going on here, dude?
Okay, you brought up something really interesting, and it's the word trust. And I think that on the conversation of there's always going to be people who are willing to undercut, take less money just because they want to have the experience of, shooting the shows and being backstage, whatever. I think that the trust is so important, and it's a big reason why you're able to, charge more than somebody else with just a camera, because it's trust. The artist needs to trust the person capturing the content because it's a huge moment for the artist.
Yeah.
I think about when John Summit did his MSG show. Like, a DJ performing at MSG is insane. And they're putting a lot of money into their brand, into the production. There's a lot of pressure that comes along with that. And so trust comes into play with the fact the artist needs to trust the person with the camera that they know they're not going to fuck up the moment.
Exactly. Because it's a once in a lifetime thing, right? Like the nature of what we do, especially with, more run and gun and live shooting, is that like that moment is never going to happen again. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't just do another take. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, wait, sorry. Can you play where you are again? I wasn't recording. You can't do that. So that's what does add to the pressure. And then that is also what makes the experience more valuable, is because you get these once in a lifetime things. And sometimes, especially in the beginning, you'll mess some things up. But, hopefully by the time, this is what an artist is just banking on. Okay, this person has experience. They've done their fuck ups already. Yeah. They know what it's like to mess up, and they know what it's like to achieve success. So, that you're much more likely to not, miss those moments given, the greater amount of time that you've been doing it.
Has being a creator yourself helped in just the overall workflow for these artists? Because I feel like when we first moved in together at 505, OG 505, you were making a little bit of content, but it was like a lot of show content. And then I feel like as those years went on, your face started to become more prominent. You had some videos go nuclear, like they were going off. Do you feel like that helped? Like just career plus even going to them and being like, listen, I know that this style of content is going to do well, or like, I don't know. What was that like?
It helped undeniably. Okay. And I will say, like, I did this. The first time I ever put my face in front of the camera on socials like that was because of you guys. Oh, wow. Because you guys we were all living together, and I would always, be like next door to Costa, so I would hear him recording. I'm like, and you guys all doing this. I'm like, I should try this. Dude,
I remember your first one banked. I remember I was like, this is sick. Like,
I was so nervous, man. I listen back to it now, and my voice is so like, okay, so this is my
name is Lanre, and I tour.
But yeah, it was like, and I didn't really know what exactly I was going to get out of it. It was really like a very organic kind of want to do it. Like, hey, look, here's what I do. Here's kind of and I'm like, okay, I make content for these big artists, and like on these big stages with big audiences. Like, why don't I do it for myself too? And so that one, in terms of understanding, how how to approach any kind of edit, any kind of video, especially when you're doing it for yourself. You're a lot more like analytical. You can like dissect things a lot more because one, I had all the time in the world to do it. You know, I'm not on tour or anything. So I'm like, okay, yeah, like this hook worked. Or like, you know, the fall off is at 15 seconds. What happens at 15 seconds? Okay, this, you know, all these things. So that helps in, you know, when I'm servicing my clients. And then it really helped with, you know, getting my name and reputation out there. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to get tagged by your artist, like, hey, like this is, you know, at Lanre shot this video, and you know that will do, you know, great things for especially someone coming up that may not have a reputation. But then, you know, when you can provide value to people through your content in terms of like not just look how cool my life is, but like here's how I do this, here's how I got into this, here are the nuances of touring, or here are the nuances of whatever. You know, people will tell me like, oh, I don't even do video, but I watched like your breakdown of that multicam and like you know, how you made the crowd sound like this, or how, like, you know, whatever, how you chose this color. And so, you know, if you're providing value to people, you know, it kind of goes from like you being good at what you do to you truly mastering what you do. Because I don't think you can say you've really mastered a skill or anything until you can teach someone else how to do it. And that's a challenge in and of itself, you know. But once you can do that, then, you know, I think then you can really say like, okay, yeah, this is my thing. I've mastered this aspect of my career skill set.
On the topic of really understanding content from like your personal content and an artist's content, when it comes to building trust with an artist, how much are you giving your input for different types of content an artist can make, or that you can help them produce through whether you're on the road with them or for a specific show? And is that a way that you feel you bringing ideas to the table allows you to kind of build a relationship with the artist where it's like, oh, I'm not just going to tell Lanre what to do. Like, he's actually going to come to me with ideas. Like, what is that relationship with the artists that you work with?
It definitely varies, because there are some artists that aren't necessarily that content minded. You know, like it's something that, you know, they, especially like with older artists that like didn't have the same like exposure to social media that we did growing up, where it's kind of second nature to us. So, you know, they'll kind of like delegate the creative of that, which is where I have a lot more input. They trust me to kind of be like, okay, here's what the strategy is. And then there are other artists like especially John, who will know exactly what he wants, because he's very like he's like a social media genius. You know, like he's been back before, you know, before his career blew up, he was making his own videos, making his own edits. You know, he'd figure out how like, oh yeah, these kinds of TikToks go viral, or this is how the best way to get my music out, you know. And so he's always, you know, has his finger on the pulse of the greater landscape. And so in those situations, yes, there's a lot of like us bringing him ideas because that's our job. But a lot of the time it'll be like, oh, I have this vision. Like, what's the best way that we can tackle this vision? And then it goes from, you know, us, like me specifically, like coming up with the entire idea. It's like, okay, he has the idea. How can I execute his vision? It's almost like he's the director and I'm the DP in you know, more or less, you know what I mean? Like, he trusts the people to execute these ideas that he has. And I think that, you know, is a huge reason as to why he's been so successful, because he does that across everything, with the lighting people, with you know, with production and you know, his agents and managers, everything, you know. So yeah, it depends on the artist. But regardless, it is, you know, very important to get their input, even if they aren't a content person. You know, it's like, what do you think about this? Like, what's your input on this? And, you know, a lot of times they'll kind of come out and be like, oh wait, no, that's the way you presented this idea, like, now makes me think, okay, this could work here, this could work there. And so it kind of goes from them not doing really much with the content to like them almost by accident, because you presented it in a good enough way, to like them having more input and feeling more like they're in control of their image, as opposed to just handing it off to someone else, which I think is important.
Talk to us about having a dream to make this company, but it's not like it's going to happen overnight. There's certain things that need to happen and come into play, and you have to work on certain things to actually launch and have it be the full-time thing. what were you shooting in the meantime? And can you talk to the videographer who has dreams of doing a specific niche or creating a company that's shooting a certain thing, but they're also getting hit up for these other freelance things, but they don't know if they want to shoot this, but they kind of feel like they have to because we all have bills to pay.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that transition period of, you know, touring with John and then transitioning into really doing your own company with Made Media.
So when it comes to, you know, kind of figuring out what you want to I guess shoot, or what niche that you really want to go into, it's tough to put all your eggs in one basket from the jump, because, you know, you could devote all your time to, let's say, doing music stuff, and then you'll find out down the road that you don't really like doing music stuff, but you've already invested all these resources, like it's your entire clientele, you know, then you're kind of stuck. And so that's kind of what always was in the back of my mind. Should I go all in on this? Should I go all in on that? Or should I keep trying to do everything? But if you try to do everything, you'll kind of spread yourself too thin. So, but I do think it's important to try different things, especially whatever opportunities come your way, because it'll teach you what you like to do. It'll teach you what you don't like to do. And then there are certain skills that you can take from, you know, other niches that you can apply to, you know, whatever you do decide to pursue, that other people in that niche may not have, that, you know, those experiences. You can bring something new to the table and kind of, you know, make yourself stand out. But yeah, for the longest time, because most of what I had been doing, I couldn't really put a label on what exactly I was creating, because I was just kind of doing everything. Like when it came to, you know, anything that involved a camera or videos or photos or editing or media in general, that's just kind of what I did, you know? So I was, after, you know, doing the touring and working in music for so long, I was starting to think, okay, yeah, how can I take this to the next level? Because I can't just be, I'm not just going to be, you know, a day rate tour videographer forever. You know, as much as I loved it, I'm like, there has to be something, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. And I kind of got stuck in this analysis paralysis where I was like, okay, yeah, if I start this company, it has to, you know, we do exactly this, and then we do only these things and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know what I wanted that to be. But, you know, I'm a firm believer in there's never really like the right time to do anything. You know, like there wasn't the right time for me to move to LA on a whim. There wasn't the right time for me to quit my job and start, you know, touring. You know, I just did it because, you know, okay, yeah, this opportunity is presenting itself now. Let's move forward and figure it out. And, you know, kind of when you throw yourself into the fire is kind of the best way to learn things. You know, put yourself in a position to do something that you haven't done before and learn in the moment. At least that's always worked for me. And so that's now kind of how I've taken my approach to starting this agency. You know, starting off small, doing what I can, doing what I'm best at, delegating that work. I think it's important to have, you know, enough of a goal to get yourself started, but don't be beholden to, okay, it has to be exactly this, because I don't think anything in my career has turned out exactly the way I thought it would. I can't name a single thing, but I wouldn't change a single thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy that, you know, that the chips fell the way they did, and that I'm not where I'm at.
That's so fair. Yeah, you're like, this is gonna be the line, and it's like, actually, you're gonna fucking loop around here. Isn't it amazing owning a company though? You can hire better people. It's great.
It's nice.
It's amazing.
Really nice.
I'm like, oh, you're way better fucking photographer than me. Great. Yeah, we got a job for you, dude. Like, get in here.
Basically, the goal.
Yeah.
You want to be like DJ Khaled.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're
Dude,
like,
dot connector.
Yeah. I'm just a connector.
I'm a dot connector.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that's what our production company is. There's dot connectors. I'm just like, who could do this way better than me?
Yeah.
They're going to do it.
And it's great. It's rewarding too, because there are, and I'll always say this, there are people who are better at me, you know, at you know, any given thing, that don't necessarily have the same opportunities that I do.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so it's almost like a tragedy seeing that, like, oh, dude, like you should be working, you know, you should be getting more jobs. You should be working on bigger projects. Like, you're so talented. But now I'm in a position where I can put them into those, give them those opportunities that, you know, I wish I had back then. And then seeing them crush it and seeing them have a great relationship with whatever artists I connect them with, I look back on that, I'm like, yeah, okay, that feels really good.
What do you feel like are the biggest attributes that a creator needs to have to crush it with an artist?
one, you got to be damn good at your job.
Mm.
That needs to be undeniable. Like there can't be there's no personality hire in this. You know what I mean? The content's not getting done. What's the point? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? But personality hire in the sense that you do need to be able to get along with your artists, match their energy, know how to, be in rooms where, big famous people can come in and you're not going to be weird, and further than that, like, if they have a family, like how does their family feel about you? How do their friends feel about you? How are you in the room? How do you, do you keep the energy up? Do you bring people's energy up, or do you bring people's energy down? Because especially when you're touring, energy is kind of everything, because you're always tired. You're always moving from one place to the other. Morale has to be up. You can't have someone in your crew that's always a Debbie Downer, because then it just sucks the energy out of everyone, and everyone is, becomes worse at their job.
Have you felt that on tour sometimes? You don't have to obviously name the people, but have you felt that and you're like, that person, and then they like get them out of there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Several times.
Wow.
Yeah. It's that's the tough thing, because you could be the most skilled, talented photographer, videographer in the world. But if you can't be in the room, if you can't be around, the people that you're servicing, that's, I would say, almost just as important, because, then you're not able to do your job. And then you're just making your artist's life harder. You're making everyone on the team's life harder. If you can't, be a good person to be around.
I'm so with you though, dude. Like if you come on the shoot and you're annoying and you're just a pain in the ass, it's like, bro, I'm paying the checks, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around this.
Mm-mm.
But it's also your reputation.
Totally.
And now
yeah.
that you're in the business of connecting
exactly.
a creator with an artist,
Mhm.
your reputation's also on the line. So
Absolutely.
Now it's not just, can Lanre come and shoot the show and give us the content? Is the people that Lanre is bringing into our world like of a certain caliber, not just from a skill set standpoint, but can they kind of hang with the crew, act like you've been there before, and also deliver at the highest quality?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think a good example of this is my really good friend Austin used to be a real estate agent here in LA. I don't know if you've watched who the Altman brothers are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have like that Netflix show, I think. And it would be, he works for the Altman brothers. The Altman brothers are these, mega super huge real estate agent mogul people.
Mm-hmm.
But when, someone wants to sell their house, like, oh yeah, we'll go with the Altman brothers. They're not going to get the Altman brothers every time.
Yes.
Most of the time they won't. They'll get someone that the Altman brothers have hired, that have vetted, that they feel comfortable stamping their name on. So then you become a representative of the person who's giving you this connection. And that's a lot of, what I've been learning in terms of, when an artist wants to hire me and I don't necessarily have the time, or they don't have the budget, then I can, bring someone else. Be like, okay, I trust this person. And I will only put people on, I will only put them on through me if I genuinely trust them and they can take direction and kind of understand, the level of quality that we need to maintain.
How do you vet them? Is it putting them on maybe like a lower stakes show at first and seeing how they work? And are you always, to be able to trust someone to go without you on a show, do you have to first shoot a show with them, see how they work, vet them in that way in person, and then they kind of prove to you that they have the chops, then you can send them on their own?
Yeah, for the most part. And a lot of it was kind of done already because, like I said, with John, we were doing a lot of, especially when we're abroad or in just anywhere that's not, LA or Miami, we're hiring a lot local. So it was a lot of me finding people. Okay, yeah, we got to staff a 5-person multicam. How do I find 5 good creators in, near or around this area? And
how would you? Just Instagram?
A lot of Instagram, yeah.
Wow.
Just like ISO, videographers, multicam operators.
In Amsterdam, bang.
Yeah, and then send me your portfolio. And
wow.
Then, yeah.
You had a guy shooting 30 or 60 frames?
Like sometimes an artist will want, it's typically between 24 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but when the artist wants their videos in 24, you can shoot in 30 and get away with it, right? It just might look a little choppy, but that's fine. If an artist wants something in 30 and you shoot in 24, then you're fucked, because it's just because it's just like doubling it's like for every, I don't know, it looks horrible.
Brother, I had this happen on a shoot, and I'm not going to say the brand, but it was supposed to be in 30. It was filmed in 24. And I was trying to figure out like, how can we do it? And it actually ended up working using Artemis, an AI plugin to blend the frames.
Is that through Topaz?
I believe so.
Yeah, the Artemis.
Yes. Yeah, and it totally looked perfect. And I was like searching Reddit forums, and apparently it's a big thing in commercial because a lot of the time they'll shoot like a spot for, let's say, social or something, and they're like in 24 and then they're like broadcast needs it in 30. So it is a common thing that happens, because I was like, bro, like what if this has to, like other people have to have like had this happen.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of that like, it's like, when people complain that they have like the motion smoothing on their TV.
Yes.
They try to watch like a movie and it looks like a soap opera. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the same technology that like now you can do.
It's crazy now they can do it. Like it was it's insane. I was like, wow, this looks great. Like,
so you can save it for sure.
Yes, it's just for an hour set.
Or like a 3-hour set. You're like, okay, every time I cut to this angle, I gotta process this 24 clip.
Takes 45 minutes, takes an hour.
Yeah.
For the multicam stuff, do you have someone watching each camera? Like if something is on sticks, you're not moving for this 2-hour show, you're just fucking making sure that this camera's recording the whole time?
When budget allows, yes. So I mean, there's times where you'll do a multicam and you'll have like 2 shooters, right? But then you'll still want 2 at front of house, two cameras in front of house, and then 1 over the decks, obviously, and then 1 person behind the artist, and then 1 person roaming. The person roaming is typically responsible for setting up the front of house, starting the record, making sure everything's in place to a point where, a fan can't come and turn the fucking record off. And then, going out to the crowd to do their roam. But, in a perfect world, you would have a PA monitoring everything that's on sticks. Because then you'd have, in a perfect world, you'd have probably more than just front of house on sticks. You'd have one maybe on the side of the stage or out in the crowd or up in the bleachers. You know what I mean? So for those, you definitely need someone to monitor.
Do you sync with timecode, or what do you guys do?
Syncalia. Yeah. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a software that it syncs everything by audio.
Oh, cool.
So there's like a built-in audio sync in Final Cut, but it gets it kind of breaks after you add more than 3 angles. Yeah. You can throw 30 angles into Syncalia, and you don't even have to be recording the entire time. Like it'll take like
just like a little. I could have recorded for a minute.
I shoot in bursts always. I never shoot
you're not shooting
continued.
one long thing.
No. That it's like I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't like it.
Okay.
I like to be able to put my camera down and like just bring it back up when like the moment calls for it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you might mob around. You might be recording. You'll bop around to a new spot. Record again.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. And then it'll take, if you organize in your timeline, it'll take every single clip and then just sync it to like your recorded audio, and then and then it'll spit out like a multicam.
So for the set, you auto or recording, like if you were shooting with John's recording the whole set up on the decks, or no? Is that not
well, we are from
front of house.
Yeah, from front of house.
Okay.
With like a zoom.
Literally like Zoom H4n or H6n or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then we get the clean audio from there, and then
does you hear the crowd really or not really?
What's up?
Do you hear the crowd with it or not really?
Well, sometimes we have crowd microphones that we just route into the Zoom for like ambient noise.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we have one channel that's just straight clean out of the mixer, and then one that's like a microphone that was in the middle of the crowd that you can hear like,
that's cool.
And all that stuff.
That's so interesting. Yeah, it's tricks of the trade, man.
Yeah, man. It's and then when you don't have that, like I actually made a video about this where if you are recording with a microphone on the stage and you have clean audio, then you can just go into your editor, kind of duplicate it, change the audio source to your microphone, layer it under the clean audio, and then just take an EQ and cut out all the low frequencies so that all you hear is a and you don't hear like the kick.
I saw you do this video. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh,
that's so interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of little nifty tricks.
Yeah, that you find from you shooting 1,000 shows.
Mm-hmm. But knowing all those nuances is a big reason why a lot of these big artists trust you guys.
Yeah.
Talk about your decision to position yourself specifically in music and how that has allowed you to work with the level and caliber of artists, that you've been able to work with. Because there's a lot of, we teach this in the DCA cohort that we do, but like positioning is so important as a creative, as a photographer, videographer, production company, agency, whatever you're doing. Because if you specialize, you know those nuances of how to get content to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's why you're able to actually have a company and charge a premium rate, because you know those nuances, and it goes back to the trust thing that we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's really I'll say the biggest things that allow, me and my team to work with the caliber of artists that we do is trust and experience. And trust comes from experience, obviously, but like, it's not there are people who you can have a super long career and maybe not be as reliable, or like maybe not have like picked up on things, maybe just be going through the motions, that don't earn you that trust. But then, at least in my experience, you learn all these nuanced little things. When something goes wrong, how can you fix it? Or you're just like, oh damn, no, it's all gone. Like no, like there's ways to like salvage things, right? Or and then knowing how to manage personalities and like be good energy in the room. Like I said earlier, it's really, that just comes from, it's not something that you can really learn in a book. You have to learn by doing. And I did a lot, thousands of shows in like the most hectic environments. And so now when, we're doing these, whether it's a one-off show or like a light tour where it's not as hectic, it's not as like scary hours, then, you have a much clearer head, and the experience comes in, and it's like, okay, yeah, these artists are going to trust me because I've done this a million times, and I know, the nuances of what can go right and wrong in this industry. And then, me teaching people that, I'm putting on, like my intern, for example, like he's doing his first festivals, he's learning all these things on the fly, and I'm just helping him, okay, yeah, like, okay, and I wish someone told me this when I first experienced whatever it may be, putting them on in ways that, they don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. And then, that just, one, takes their career further, and then gives us a more well-rounded team that can have, I guess, the benefits of my experience. Kind of, now it's everyone's experience, you know what I mean? And so that kind of gives the agency a more, bit more of an identity, as opposed to just being me. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about Coachella, because this is fucking epic. Fig and I were both there, but just in GA, just enjoying the show,
dude.
not shooting
Just
anything.
hanging.
Yeah, just frolicking around the desert. When the opportunity to produce content for Coachella came about, how many artists did it start as, and how many did it end up being that you were creating content for? Like, how many? How did you source your team, and how did you pull off shooting Coachella in an environment where service is ass, you're dealing with multiple artists, it's as high stake of a performance as you can really get as a DJ? Walk us through that experience.
Yeah, so prior to Coachella, I think like well in advance, like months in advance, we had booked 3 artists. And there were artists that we like already had a prior relationship with, so they kind of just like, oh, like, because I think I've really publicized the work I've done at Coachella over the last 3 years, because, I've shot Fisher and Chris Lake, and then John Summit, and then Disco Lines. And so I really put all that stuff out there. And then I think, from that, and then from, just our experience, I was, the first person that they would want to go to for this specifically. We had booked, I think, 3 artists in the months prior. And then, as things get closer, like surprise sets start to get booked, like Disco Lines did the Campgrounds, which was a surprise. John did the Do Lab, which was a surprise. And then more Do Lab sets start coming out, which is like instead of doing 2 performances across both weekends, it's every artist does it on one weekend. So my friend Kyle Goodfella, who's like been blowing up with his new song, it's called Morning Coffee, and just like been changing his career, got booked at a really prime slot at the Do Lab, reached out to me and said, yo, this is a huge moment for me. Like, is there any way that, you have the bandwidth to work together? I was like, yeah, of course, And so at that point, it comes down to, okay, I'll take on more artists if these set times don't conflict, obviously, because, I for the most part, I'm going to be at all the sets and like directing or shooting. And then there's a lot of times in between where, you know, I'll get asked to just do like social UGC stuff, you know, because I have, like I said, this reputation for being the phone video guy. And so people want like, you know, you can't just throw anyone in there and like, yeah, here's a phone, go film, you know, like
it won't look the same.
It's not gonna look the same. And so, so yeah, so I pretty much did that for John and for Disco Lines and then for Anima, on one of the weekends. And then the rest of it was kind of directing multicams. So with Adriatique, they had a big, huge production at the Sahara tent. And then with And Friends, he was playing at the Yuma tent. And so it was a lot of, you know, but luckily the way it shaped out was we weren't doing too many sets on any given day. Right. So we did have a lot of time in between to get the content, kind of, dialed in, you know, like we would shoot the set, dump all the footage. If it was a daytime set, you know, we'd get out a couple clips for them to post like in the green room, and then we'd go about the rest of the day, get back to the house, and then, you know, give them the full folder the next day. So
it's like you're delivering social clips, the full set, photos.
Full set, no, like full sets take
a while.
Yeah, they'll take a while.
Okay.
And yeah, we typically don't do full sets for Coachella. That's more so for like, you know, like artists like headline shows.
I see. Okay.
And stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much like most of the deliverables are like an album of photos and then a couple multicam clips in like reel and carousel formats. So
when you're forming the team, do people need to be hybrid? Like, do they have to be able to do multiple jobs, or are you bringing on people where, because it's so fast paced and the turnaround time needs to be so quick, is it this person's just shooting and then you're, you know, dumping footage and having someone cut versus edit photos?
That varies depending on artist and budget. So like there were a couple artists that reached out, and, you know, we had conflicting set times, but I was still able to connect them with somebody that I trusted, and they'd be like, hey, like we have X amount of money and we need raw clips and photos. I'm like, okay, like I could either give you 2 people that do just that, like just photo, just video, but would like their caliber like would warrant that small rate, or I can get you someone that's like really good at both, take full rate, and then, you know, just kind of do both. So in those instances, yeah, it's good to have hybrids. But when it comes to, you know, especially like when I direct teams, I like to have, you know, not give anyone too much responsibility in terms of their objectives. You know, if like, hey, I want you to get this specific angle because I know you're really good at handheld, or I know you're really good with the gimbal. Like that should be all they're doing. You know, in terms of so that they can be the best at, you know, whatever, you know, we delegate them to do. So yeah, it's good to have the skill set of a hybrid shooter, you know, because then it kind of opens more doors for you. But at least, you know, when I'm building out teams, I like to give everyone their specific assignments.
What is that range of, like, what is an artist willing to pay for a multicam? Because you now said it's kind of like the standard, every artist wants it, and it's kind of like it's needed. What can you charge for a high budget multicam?
So when I say multicam, it's a lot of it's a wide range of what it could be, right? Because like just the
peeps, more manpower.
Yeah, exactly. And then bigger production, more ambitious, you know, camera angles and things like that. But like just the concept of a multicam, of multiple cameras filming a set, is kind of the baseline for any show. Wow. So they're not going to be dumping huge amounts of money into like a middle of the tour kind of show, or like when you're doing this a bunch, right? So, but I guess at the base, it's like you'd ideally have at least 2 people, and that you can get 5 angles out of 2 people, behind the artist, over the decks, 2 at front of house, 1 roaming. And so that's kind of the baseline. And then you're pretty much paying that roamer's day rate, and then you know, handling the edits and stuff. So that's
do you do the camera rentals too. Like, do you need 5 cams yourself?
So I'll have mine. A lot of times the roamers will have other bodies
Okay.
that we can just put in front of house.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes we may just have to rent one or
Oh,
one or
wow.
two, just depending.
Do you
on
have two now, or what do you rock with?
I have two. I have a A7S3 and an FX3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But then I haven't really ever needed more than that
Hmm.
because, especially if you're in a pinch, like just share grid it and then, toss it up there.
Hmm.
And then over the decks, I usually just use like a action camera.
Oh, an action camera.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There's just not usually that much space like in front of the decks, right? It's like
yeah,
just easier.
yeah, and a lot of times you don't have a lot of time to set up.
Yeah.
Like if I had all the time in the world, I'd put an FX3 on there. You know what I mean? With
Yes.
like a 10 mil lens, and it'll look great. But then if you're like, if the changeover from like the artist playing before you, sometimes there's no changeover. Sometimes they literally just like, okay, yeah, you're done. Slide over the next decks, and then you have like 10 seconds to go. Record. Okay, go. Very stressful.
Recording, hope it's centered.
Yeah. And but with like a GoPro or a DJI, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of
No focusing.
you don't have to focus. It's just like, okay, like, can they see my hands up here? Can they see the decks? Cool. Shoot.
Dude,
with the Sony, it's more like, okay, yeah, fuck, where's
Bro.
the
LeBron's chalk toss on the night of the record. Fucking fan bumped my camera, and I had a manual 10 mil on, and it was just like kind of their shoulder because I was like in the crowd for the toss, and I was like,
yeah.
I didn't have a monitor. It was just on the Ronin, like super tiny on the C70, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I feel like that's focus, bro. But like, I'm peeking on, I'm like, feel like that's focus, but I can't really tell. And it was like all happening so fast, and then it went, and I look, I'm like, just totally soft.
Yeah.
Just totally soft. Never. I'm like, can we redo the chalk toss?
I'll never not have manual focus anxiety.
Oh my God.
Like, no matter
dude.
what, like-
Made me so
I
mad.
have it right now as we're recording this.
Bro, I had it in manual too. You got to be wary of the fans, man. The fans
Yeah.
can like
Yeah,
bump
yeah,
your
yeah,
lens, and
yeah.
it's just like the most micro little turn. I'm like,
No, that's happened several times, especially with like with front of house cameras when like
It's so easy to
someone's
do.
head will just
Yeah,
bump
yeah,
it. And
bump
like,
it,
okay,
like-
yeah, then the rest of the shot is gone.
yeah, and you can't even. You're like looking at it, you're like, feel like that's in focus.
Yeah.
Get a monitor, dude.
Yeah.
Buy a big monitor.
I promise you I'm going to let you ask a question.
You promise?
promise.
Okay.
But real quick, on the topic of day rates, just so we can kind of maybe this episode will start getting spread to people in the industry.
Mhm.
Can you share numbers as far as like what is for maybe a beginner, intermediate, advanced, what are standard day rates for concerts when it comes to video and photo?
You need to determine what you think you're worth. You know what I mean? Like you need to be like, okay, yeah, I believe in myself this much, or I believe I bring this much to the table. And then at that point, other people will tell you how much. Sometimes, like not everyone's like comfortable with sharing their rates, but like you'll start to learn. Okay, yeah, like what's my caliber? Do I bring as much to the table as like the next person who's charging this much? Can I justify this? And then those are the conversations that you have with the people on the management side who are booking you. Okay, yeah, why do you want to raise, or why do you think like this justifies XYZ? And then if you can bring them a compelling argument, then then they would have no problem paying it in an ideal world. But yeah, I'd say like 200-ish for like beginners. You get up to, a couple years under your belt, then you get up to like the $500, $600, $700 range. And then, like the true like OGs have been doing this forever and like, are like hands down the best. It's going to go up to like 2K. You know what I mean? So, but then I'm speaking of just like individual day rates.
Yes, they're the greatest. That's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then at that point, you're typically not just by yourself. You're managing a budget.
You're the team.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's like production costs, and then like per diems, and then all these different numbers that you're dealing with there. So that number gets a lot bigger in that sense. But then when it comes to day rates and stuff, that's kind of that's what I would say is the general gist of kind of what people
I think that's helpful for
charge.
people. You get like a general gist of where you can take it, because I feel like in DP land, I didn't really understand how it worked and how much they were charging, but like I own the company, so I can kind of like, we can kind of dictate like what it's going for. But I've seen people say like, oh, I'm $500 a day, and like the very best are like 5,000 a day for like insane people. Like the very like people making feature films all the time. So it's very interesting to see just like the range of of things. And then it's so different if you own a company and you're delivering them all the assets, and you have employees and insurance and all of that stuff. It's like that all goes into the cost that I don't think people understand. And
Yeah.
you know what? And as the company, you're the advocate for them. I think
Exactly.
people don't understand that. Someone was asking me this the other day. They DM me and they're like, "Yo, I got hit up by this guy to do these photos, but I want to know like what he's getting." And I'm like, "Well, is it does he have a company or like what's the vibe?" And he's like, "Yeah, he has a company." And I was like, "I would take whatever you're comfortable with under the company because they have the insurance that I'm assuming you probably don't have.
Mhm.
They have the gear, they have the client that you don't have. You don't have this. Like if you had it, you would do it."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you would do it if you had them,
Yeah.
but you don't have them. So you should do it.
Mhm.
And they also are your advocate. Like I was thinking about that the other day. Like we had a guy who's like editing some stuff for us. Client's pain in the ass. Instead of them having to bitch out the client, we can go bitch out the client and be like, "Yo, like you guys are fucking being ridiculous. Like this is fine." And you're like on their team instead of it just being like solo one man, one woman band versus big conglomerate.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is great. It's that's something that I've been learning a lot in this agency world now is that now I can
You're the advocate.
It's on like in an instance where you do have to go, be mad at your client about something, then you can go, argue on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
And then even before that, like when you're at the negotiating table.
Yes, you can get them more.
You can get them way more.
You get them way more as opposed to them going, it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Rick and I have an A7S3. It's so different, dude. It's like you will get way less money trying to go around than you will likely with an established business going through them. And you'll get dish more, dude.
Because you can go as made media, our shooters get this amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like because they're of this caliber.
Because I truly believe that they're of that caliber.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So no, it's no longer just like a one-man band freelancer being like,
this is my rate. Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's because like you do have to you always gotta watch out for, I mean, not, and I don't mean this in like a super negative way, but people get taken advantage of.
Yes, for
You
sure.
know, people can look at, let me look at this super talented kid who maybe doesn't have as much experience, and if we just go straight to him and are like, "Hey, we want to do blah blah blah," like intimidate them, they'll just lowball us, and then we'll get a good rate and then a sick kid. And then I can come in and be like, "Okay, this is our guy, this is his skill set, this is his experience, and then based off of that, here's his rate." And then I'll stand behind that. Obviously, I'm not gonna just pump up the numbers because I have an agency, because how long is that gonna last? Like that'll just expose you in no time. This guy's just trying to, I don't know, hike up the rates. That's not what it's about. It's about like, okay, no, I believe in this creator, and this is why the budget is justified. And then when it comes from someone who, speaking as the head of the company, but also speaking as someone with this experience, I think that goes a long way when, trying to develop trust with the person trying to hire this person, because they don't necessarily know what experience it takes to be good at the job. They're kind of, a lot of times they're hoping, okay, like this kid's really talented, I hope that this goes well. But then when they're vetted by, people with experience, then they can go, okay, like those are the people that know exactly what it takes to be good at this job. And if they have this person's back, then I can trust them more. And then, then they're more comfortable, paying whatever rate, may be justified.
What do you feel like's been the hardest part of going from just a solo shooter to now managing people and building out a company?
The hardest part, I think, it's a good question. Because the hardest part for sure is delegating work. And I'll say this, like when I was touring with John, most of what I was doing, a lot of what I was doing was producing his vlog series, which was,
Great vlogs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like documentary style, run and gun, kind of capturing all the stuff that happens in between the shows. And I really enjoyed doing that. And we had a really great rapport when it came to that. And then I was also helping out with media as a whole. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'd be the main guy on tour and then like directing the multicam. Sometimes I'd be part of the multicam team. It would vary. But then John and I had a lot of conversations about like our careers, because we had a lot of similarities in kind of how we approached
Arizona
our
too, right? Both of you?
No. He went to UVI.
Oh, he went to use
You were both-
Irvine?
No, Illinois.
Oh, Illinois.
Yeah.
Oh, UCI is Irvine.
But
Okay.
you were deep in the corporate world.
Yeah, exactly.
And so is he.
Yeah, we 4-year college and then working in corporate and then taking a chance on ourselves to enter, the music industry, So a lot of parallels there, and there's a lot of things that we could relate to in that sense. And so, and that's what I really, really enjoyed about working with him and still do, is that, there are those parallels. We can see, I can see a lot of my career and kind of how he's gone about it. And obviously he's taking it to incredible heights. And so there's always something I learn from him on a day-to-day basis, especially over like last summer, we had a lot of conversations about, I would go to him and be like, okay, here's just with ideas and thoughts about my career, like where I think I want to take it next or whatever. And he would give me a lot of encouragement in terms of like, yeah, you at this point in your career, with how skilled you are and your reputation, like you should be having a team. Like, I know you're not just going to be, the solo guy forever. Like he would say that to me before I even brought that concept up. And so he gave me like a lot of really great advice on how to go about, doing what I'm doing now, which was super appreciative. But when it came to, while I was still producing that vlog series, trying to learn how to delegate that work was a huge challenge, because I'm so used to doing everything myself. I'm so used to, okay, I know exactly how to shoot this conversation, or when I should run out of the room because something might happen or someone might be coming, or when to be a fly on the wall, when to get the subject to talk to the camera. All these things I never learned from a book or a class. I just learned from experience.
You can't either. You have to just do it and
You just have to do it.
Understand vibe and like when to ask and when to not, when to feel if they're being like they don't want to be talked to right now, and not be like, yo, so tell me about what city we're in. It's just like, bro.
Yeah. And then
you can't teach that though. You can't.
And well, I don't know if you can like in the sense of the word teach it.
Yes.
Like, you definitely.
But you know it for sure as the shooter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like
it's hard though. Like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to write that down for somebody.
No.
They have to
I would
feel
need
energy.
I would have people shadow me.
Yes, exactly.
So like especially when it came to like the shooting part, I'd have like Cole, for example, would come to like ACL with me, and it was almost like I was shadowing him in a way, because he would be the one filming, but I'd be behind him being like, okay, yeah, go get that. Go ask him a question here. Or this person is coming into the room, go get their entrance, right? Okay, now just be in the corner. Okay, now after they're done talking, now go up to them and say XYZ. You know what I mean? And then he'll always be like, okay, yeah, like, what do you think? Like here, should I do this? And I'm like, yeah. That was probably the best experience I've had in terms of learning how to delegate that. But then when it comes to the editing, that was something I had a lot of, it was a huge challenge to teach someone how to do. It's very like taste based. It's very like, I don't really operate in terms of like I don't know how well I would do like editing a movie with a team and like with like systems and stuff. I don't know any of that. Like I didn't know what a L cut or a J cut was. I just did it because it felt right. Do you know what I mean? And then I found out later, oh, there's a terminology for this. No, I just edit like on vibes. And so
that's the Lanre cut.
Exactly.
But that's the L cut. Dog.
But then it gets tough when you like, when I'm like, okay, here's all the footage, and then here's some example of the work I've done. Try to match it as well as much as you can, and then I'll give you notes after it. Then there'll be things where like, okay, like that audio cut out really abruptly, or like this is framed incorrectly, or this is exposed, or this isn't color graded the right way, or there should be music under here. Why aren't the cuts to the beat? Why is like your transition between one song to another one not on the grid, or all these things, you know what I mean? And so that was really tough. And I think in terms of, going from being a solo to running a team, being a connector, having an agency, that was probably as hard. Learning how to delegate was probably as hard as learning how to create videos in the first place. But that's kind of what makes it fun. That's kind of what like gets me out of bed, is because it's a new thing that I have to learn. You know what I mean? Like I can do the solo video thing all day. Like it's my bread and butter. I can do it with my eyes closed. You know what I mean? I'm not like necessarily learning how to do this anymore. Even though like, yeah, I'll pick up skills here and there. It's important to stay, you know, updated, but it doesn't, I wasn't ever really like on a day-to-day basis learning how to do new things. As much so as, you know, now with delegating work and managing people and, you know, making sure everyone's taken care of, it's like, it feels like the next logical step. And the fact that I don't know 100% how to do it is what motivates me to learn.
Do you think it's, in my opinion, I'm curious to hear you, I feel like it's not one or the other, it's all. It's like you shouldn't just be on lo-fi iPhone.
No.
It should be, oh, like you want your brand to feel premium? It'd be weird if it was all lo-fi iPhone.
Exactly.
It should be high quality as well. Maybe they don't do as well, but now it's associated with your brand, like being high quality stuff. And then, oh yeah, we do the phone, we'll do photo carousels, but like maybe you do film one day, but it's not the whole thing. It's just film or just iPhone.
I think I say 90% of the content I produce is a healthy mix of both. You know what I mean? Like if I do a multicam, right? Like there could be 5 FX3s out in the crowd and then me on my phone. Sometimes not even in log, you know, but like throwing it in there, you would think, oh yeah, like it might not match. It might not be exactly whatever. But then you put it in and it's like,
it's close.
It's like, it's not like it's like objectively bad or objectively good.
Yeah.
One, it makes it unique. Two, it's like not like you're shooting on a iPhone 1 and it just looks like ass.
Shit. Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a great image. And then but then like and also with like recaps and stuff, like in the vlogs, right? Like it would all be horizontal. Obviously, we're shooting horizontal, but then if we recorded a funny moment on our phones, just throw it up there with the black box. The authenticity is there. You know what I mean? When people and I made a point about this in my in this video I made about this topic exactly. It went from, because like in the beginning when like, you know, like 5D Mark III and like A7S II are coming out was like the first time that like really high quality
made it to our feed
and like made it accessible. Like I can get this image out of a $2,000 camera for the first time ever.
A7S II was a fucking goated camera.
Yeah.
That shit was ahead of its time.
Way
ahead of its time, bro. Decade ahead of its time.
And then, so everyone starts doing that because, you know, that's like, okay, that's the best way to kind of portray your, like if you're an artist, that's the best way to portray your image. Look how high quality my videos are. Look how close to cinema or how close to, you know, whatever, like a super high polished big artist is, you know? And so, but then over time, you know, TikTok becomes more popular, Instagram Reels become more popular. People are going viral. Everyday people are going viral and they're just using their phones. Yeah. You know, these like very low quality kind of whatever, smudge camera, whatever. Like what mattered, what made them go viral was what was happening in the video. Or maybe they're funny or maybe it's a crazy moment, but then it's shot on a phone. And so I think it's a mix of that and when you're like, you know, the everyday person, when they're scrolling through, you know, all these reels and stuff, when they see something that was filmed on a phone, you know, even if it's filmed like maybe like a video that I take, like of like at Tomorrowland, I did all phone stuff, you know, but when people come across it, they kind of have this subconscious feeling that they're there or that they could have filmed it because they have the same exact camera in their pocket. Yeah. They're not going to film as good of a video because, you know, we are well versed in using professional cameras, but it just becomes easier for us and, you know, it becomes more relatable to the audience. But then when you're scrolling and you see something super sharp and super well produced and, you know what I mean, you're going to think it's an ad. So like you're kind of preconditioned now because you're scrolling.
So true. That's what I think it is. That's why I think the shit on the phone for our ads specifically did way better. It's because your guard goes down. You don't feel like you're being sold something. And I'm not wearing like a fucking State Farm shirt right off the rip. So you're not like auto brand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think the ads that I've watched from like, damn, that was a good ad, bro. Gox just did an ad on YouTube. This fool had to catch a bag on this dude. Did you see this? Yeah. It was like posted yesterday. It was for Coinbase or something. And it does.
Maybe I didn't.
Maybe you didn't see this. Okay. First of all, it doesn't really feel like an ad for like 15 or 18 seconds. And I'm like, wow, I'm bought in another Gox video, man. Then it's just like credit card pops in. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that was clean. You
Yeah,
got us, bro.
yeah.
You got us.
And that's a good feeling, man. Like when I find out it's an ad at the end of the
Yeah,
video,
yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, they got me.
He's good, dude.
All right, yeah, let me check out this company.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
as opposed to like when you start off like, hey, like here's
This
our
is
super
presented by.
yeah,
Yeah, boring. Boo.
You know, and then, but I think people, especially like kids that grew up with TikTok,
Yeah.
right, like. I got 500 videos to scroll through. I'm not gonna like every time an ad comes up, you're like, okay, yeah, next, next,
goodbye.
next. If it even looks like an ad, next. Like, we're just conditioned to do that, which is frustrating when you spend so much time and energy into, okay, how do I make the most cinematic, clean looking image? Because there always will be a place for that.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna toss up a vertical black boxes video on a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you probably could, but in some instances, but like, you know what I mean? Like in cinema or like high production, commercial work, that'll always be there.
Yeah.
You know, but it's when it comes to social, it's a lot more what ends are you trying to achieve? That's more important than the means that you take to get there.
There is a skill set though when it comes to filming with the phone. I love when you do the voiceovers of you being like, okay, we're at the artist, now we got the crowd, now we're zooming out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I'm pretty sure I've seen you do where you're like at 4x or 8x of the artist, and then the fireworks are coming out, so then you fucking hit the 0.5x. Like, dude, that takes skill? It takes skill.
It's funny.
Gotta know ball, man. You gotta know ball.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, okay, yeah, there's like a 0.5 second latency when you press the button, so like you can't do it right on the drop. You gotta do it right before the drop so that like it zooms out as the fireworks come up, and then like then it looks as intentional as possible. Yeah, there's a little skill in that. You know what I mean? It's not just like point and shoot and you're good. And I think that's important for even people that are thinking about starting a video career and they feel like they can't start or they have to wait until they save up the $5,000 for FX3 and a lens. It's like you can start learning skills with your phone, like with the camera in your pocket now. It's not going to make you good at using an FX3, but that'll come later. Yeah. You'll already have like at least like a base level of like, okay.
The concepts there.
The concepts, the composition, like when to shoot, like you can work with different frame rates. You can shoot in log and learn how to color grade.
I've seen a bunch of kids in college making videos of the game from the stands, and they're great. And they're on the phone. Like they're awesome. Very well composed. Like you got depth of field, it's different shot selection, and I'm like, wow, you could do this one day. Like you're getting it with the phone.
So that's my I think I might know which video you're talking. Was it the Colorado video?
Yes.
Yeah. So the guy that made that is my intern now.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. That's crazy.
So we did I'd seen that go like a little viral. Pretty much the video was the prompt or like the thing on the screen was when you don't have a media pass for the football game,
good hook.
So you use your phone.
Great hook.
And then he just made this crazy, super convoluted edit, all with his phone stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is great. Like this is like what I've been preaching, for like just use the camera that you have and you can make something really compelling. And then we went to Boulder to do a show with John, like a big headline show. And this kid, Jack, who made the video, did a run club with us. Because like we filmed John doing a run club with the students, and he was, I guess, in the run club. And then he came up to me and was like, "Hey, dude, like you're one of my favorite creators. Like, I'd love to work with you sometime. All this stuff." I was like, "Yeah, great. Just like shoot me your Instagram, all this stuff." And then he goes, "Is there any way I can get like a media pass for the show?" I was like, "No, no. Like one, the show's tomorrow. Two, like I
too much
just met you." Yeah, but then I go, "But you're the guy that made that phone video of the football team, right?" And he was like, yeah. I was like, "Do that for us." Like, and I'll see what I can do for you in the future. And then not like the very, like not even like well into the next day, like early the next morning, sends me over an edit that he did with his phone with the same prompt. Like at John Summit show, don't have a media pass, all this stuff. And I was like, this is really good. And I sent him back like a round of notes of like, okay, yeah, this hook should start here. This should go blah, blah. Instantly just takes them and goes. I'm like, okay, yeah, this kid's good. And then I send it to John. John goes, "Wow, who is this? This is really, really good." And I was like, all right. This kid has the sauce. And so, yeah. And then and then I brought him onto the team to kind of, because he, you know, obviously has these ambitions of being, you know, in the music space and you know, whatnot. And, you know, I see him, I'm like, I want to give him opportunities that I didn't have when I was in his position. And I know that he has the skills, at least like, you know, these base skills to build on and to grow. And so, yeah, he's been helping out a ton, been bringing him to you know, a bunch of big shows that, like, you know, it's his first time being at this and that, and, you know, showing him how to navigate these things, and, you know, just trying to help him out as much as I can. And he's been a great help for me too. And yeah, I think it just goes back to that using your phone can get your foot in the door in a lot of places. You know, you don't need necessarily to have, you shouldn't be like discouraged if you can't afford certain gear, right? Like, use what you have, use that to build up your skill set. And then eventually the bigger cameras will come. Then you'll figure out what you want to do, how you want to go about it. And then you'll bring a different approach than the people who weren't using their phones before. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a right or wrong way to go about it.
The gear not having a certain camera is no longer an excuse. It just isn't. Like,
that excuse.
That excuse went out the window probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Cameras don't need to get any better.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
They don't need to you don't need to buy them, dude. Just whatever's out right now.
Yeah.
I was saying this too. I was like they've gotten so, like, I feel like over the last 20 years, we've tried to, like, it was like a race to the top of like trying to get as
4K,
as realistic as 4K, and then 8K, and then 12K, blah. Now it's like, yeah, cameras have gotten so good that they look like real life, and they just don't impress us anymore.
Make them shittier.
I'm kidding. No, but like, no, seriously, like that's why like when you see VHS footage,
I know,
or
bro.
film
It feels
photos,
nostalgic.
it feels nostalgic. It feels like it has
it feels
character.
like we're kids when we're not in the 90s,
Yeah.
dude. Your moms or something filming you and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So different.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. Besides using your phone, going to a show with no media pass, and DMing you, what advice do you have for someone listening to this who might want to get into music or get on tour? Because I used to get that question when I was on tour, and my answer was work with local artists, hit up openers. But for the tour game, I feel like it's so relationship based.
It is.
That it's kind of hard to give a specific answer as to, like, do this and you'll get on tour and work with big artists.
Yeah, there is no like 4-year curriculum program for getting into touring.
4-year plan.
Yeah, no. Everyone that I know that has, you know, been touring for a significant amount of time, everyone has their own story. Everyone has like some way that they met somebody, that knew somebody, that was at the right place, the right time, all these things. So it is. I will say there's a lot of luck involved, like in terms of, you know, getting to wherever you want to go in life or in your career. Like I got lucky a lot of times, but you can't just rely on luck, because success, like you get success when luck meets preparation.
Bang.
You know what I mean? Like, I got lucky that I had gotten hit up for the first Fisher job just because the stars had aligned and I knew someone that was working on the team, and then like something happened with their old photographer, and then everything just had to line up perfectly. That was all luck. There was nothing I could do about that. That just happened. But because I was prepared to do it, I could take advantage of that opportunity. And so that's it. So is it like, did I get lucky? Yeah, sure. But if I just got lucky and I wasn't good at like the job, then it wouldn't have gone anywhere. You know what I mean? So it is, yeah, luck is involved in certain things that are out of your control, but the things that are in your control are how much you work on your craft, how much you put yourself out there, how many people that you meet, the relationship that you foster. That will put you in a position to when lightning does strike, then you'll be ready to go. You know what I mean? That'll set you up to be lucky in the future. You know what I mean?
You were prepared, you got on base, and they liked you, and they're like, dude, this is a no-brainer. Like, you have to be prepared for when that opportunity does come, because you shit the bed, it's going to be very unlikely that you get another op like that again. You know?
Because like if I had gotten my first tour opportunity, like, I don't know, like 3 years before.
I think about shit like that all the time. Where like you get the thing, I'm like, damn, if this was a few years ago, I wouldn't have been prepared for the moment would have been too big.
I wouldn't have
been ready for it.
The lights would have been too bright. I would have folded.
Yes.
I mean, even the fact that you have a company blows my mind. How you've gotten to this point, Fred?
It's insane, dude. It's crazy.
Talk about luck.
Dude. Okay, I got one more for you. Okay. Last time we were here, like you were in the middle of chasing the dream. Like you're on tour, but you're smack dab in the middle of it. Now you're building a company. You've came out of this crazy tour life. What do you know now that you could tell Lanre back then that would help you kind of bridge this gap in the journey?
Bridge the gap, like
it could be professionally. It could be something that you wanted to tell yourself that maybe from like a bandwidth standpoint or a workload standpoint, what to do differently, anything along those lines that you would like to leave yourself with back then as you continue on. Nothing that would change it. Nothing.
Like obviously, hindsight's 20/20.
Yes, yeah.
Like if you could have a
If you could
conversation,
have a little
with,
convo, little lifeline.
if we were back at 505,
yeah.
That's a good question. I think. Nice
you
one.
finally got one. Been a few pods since you've gotten. Yo, good question, Fig.
I think because I mean, at least at that point in my career, I knew that I was. I mean, you guys know I was never home. Right, I was sacrificing.
Yeah, you didn't live there.
I like, you know what I mean. So, but like, and then I'm kind of watching life go by in a sense where like I'm so busy going on tour over and over again, and like things are happening in my friend groups, you know, that I'm not there for. You know what I mean? I come back and I'm like, oh, you have a girlfriend? Oh, like this, like I've missed weddings, I've missed birthdays, I've missed, you know, all these things, and so I was struggling a lot with that. You know. Thinking, okay, yeah, is this going to be like the rest of my life? Am I going to have this time commitment, be boots on the ground forever in order to sustain a career in music? And so I didn't know what was possible. You know what I mean? Now looking back, I can say, okay, look, like you keep putting in the work. Yeah, the sacrifice right now sucks, but the payoff in the future, you know, to have agency over your time. Because now it's more so like being beholden to an artist schedule or any kind of schedule to now being in a position where I can prioritize. I can just go do the shows that make sense for me to do, and then if I need to, you know, be home, or if I need to go see my family, or if I need to, you know, go to important things, I'm now in a position where I can have someone else that I trust fill in, so I'm not getting burnt out, and I can have more of a, you know, well-rounded lifestyle. And back then, I genuinely didn't know if it was possible. I didn't know if you could be in music and have some semblance of a well-rounded lifestyle. Now I do, but I only have this luxury because of what I sacrificed back then, because of how much I grinded back then. So it's like you have to put your head down and grind so that you don't have to anymore, if that makes sense.
That would 100% make sense. That's why we're investing, dog. That's it. Bro. Come on, shit.
You've toured with two insanely massive DJs. You've worked with some other incredible artists as well. I want to know, you know, there's certain shows that stand out where you're like, oh, this was a big show for like the artist, and this was really cool to capture. One of my favorite moments, just because I'm a fan of both of them, was the moment you captured backstage with Fisher and Martin Garrix.
Oh yeah.
When I think Martin Garrix had on some sort of like
shoes.
Yes, some shoes.
Yeah.
And Fisher was flaming him. And it was so fucking funny.
I might one of those possum stompers.
So I want to know, like, do you have and this is my last question for you, but do you have a favorite moment that is not show related? A moment that you've captured of an artist that you're working with backstage, whether it was after a show, the in-between, traveling, like, do you have a favorite moment that you've captured that has stuck with you?
I think I mean, and this is like I don't know if I would say this is the most, because there's so many to choose from, but the thing that popped up in my head just now was Tomorrowland with John. Because I had done Tomorrowland, you know, with Fisher in the past, and he had done Tomorrowland, you know, several years before that. So I understood how massive, you know, obviously of a festival that is. It's one of the biggest festivals in the world. People who don't even listen to electronic music know what Tomorrowland is. You know what I mean? It's a very global stage. Everyone from around the world comes. It's huge. And it was his first time playing. It was John's first time playing the main stage. So it was like a very, very monumental moment for someone to play that stage, like the biggest stage at this huge festival. You know what I mean? And so, and I don't know if you saw this, but last year, the main stage burnt down.
Oh, we did. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
I did
yeah,
remember
yeah.
seeing this.
Yeah, it burnt down. And so that was before the first weekend. So on the first weekend we played a different stage. It burnt down, and they were able to salvage it and like create like a makeshift kind of stage. And then by the time weekend 2 came around, they had built it out a little more. And so, but the main stage at Tomorrowland is a very like, you're up there, it's not really intimate, you can't really see the crowd. But then now we were like up close and personal to him. And so being able to see during his set people's faces and people going like actually seeing the emotions on their face, going, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then, John being like, what the fuck? Like, because we've done so many big stages and all this stuff, you know what I mean? So like, we're not like, you don't get as like, I guess starstruck by the moment, but that was a moment where we're like, oh my God, dude, like, look at this. Getting that crowd to like jump up and down and dance to your music is, a huge monumental feat. And then after that, just kind of being like, oh my God, that just happened. I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, obviously for his career, but then like that felt like a monumental moment for my career too. You know what I mean? Just like it just felt really special. And so, yeah, I'd say moments when you can capture your artist's, I guess, biggest moments, like biggest kind of like things that separate, like monumental points in their career that they'll always look back on. That's what I treasure the most.
I remember when I was touring with Loud Luxury, they did their biggest headline show to date at Brooklyn Mirage, and it was during my birthday weekend. And I remember having a similar feeling because I had never seen a venue like that where like the screen wraps around, there's pyro in the middle of the crowd, which is crazy. I don't know if you've seen this. Crowd was huge, like crowd was going nuts. And it was different than a festival, but I remember being like, whoa, whenever it's your birthday, you kind of look back on like the past year. So I had that reflection moment and seeing it that it was their biggest show to date, not in terms of people, like they've done bigger festivals, but their own headline show. I remember being like, man, this is really cool. And like certain drops they would go and the crowd would go crazy and they would turn back to me and be like, holy shit. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So I relate to that, but not Tomorrowland, but I didn't know Tomorrowland was two weekends.
Yeah, it's 2 weekends.
Sick. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this is fucking
Unreal
awesome.
Pod. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 209 with Lanre Akko. Please hit the subscribe button, drop us a comment, leave us a like, and we'll see you guys all next week. Peace.
Dude, our good buddy, old roommate, Lanre.
Can you believe it? Here, dude, I want to kick off my shoes because it's PPD time.
PPD time. Get comfortable.
I want to get comfy, get locked in here.
You know what?
Huh?
This is the after party.
Yeah.
You know who's always at the after party?
Tell me.
Lanre.
Yeah. Oh,
filming,
brother is
shooting.
always at the
Dude,
after party.
he lives at the after party.
That is his thing. I mean, Sketchboy Hours was invented before we met him, but
It's so funny. There was a few times where I woke up slightly earlier when we were living together, and he would come home.
yeah, all the time.
It's like, oh, I'm up at 7. He's like, oh, Lanre's just getting home.
Lanre would tell us stories of his time in Ibiza when he was touring with like Fisher and stuff, and they don't be sleeping much. These guys on the road, man. It's a brutal game, but this was a super fun episode, very full circle because obviously when we first met Lanre, he was in the hustle and bustle of tour life, and now he's been in the game for damn near a decade, I think, at this point, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny because I went to go to his YouTube channel to see if he had any like recent YouTube stuff because I know that he's crushing the Instagram, and he has his old recaps of shows.
That's funny.
And they're just the classic like 2015, 2016 B-roll speed ramp stuff.
Yeah.
What's also ironic and full circle about this is none of us had an agency when we lived together and we did the episode when we lived together, and now we all do.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It just seems like we're
just building
the wave.
We're just building agencies, man. Yeah, it was cool though. I think my biggest takeaway from this pod, as well as like many of the others that we've done, I think is just how important relationships are.
Yes.
I think that there's no secret that everyone that we've had on the show is really talented.
What's interesting about the relationships, we were literally talking about this on the car ride here.
Yeah.
Of how relationships is everything. Like there's so many talented people, especially here in LA,
Everyone's talented.
that building trust and building the relationships with people who can get you hired and the actual artists in his opinion or in his situation is so key. But you're right. Relationships is everything.
And just the process for how you shoot whatever the thing is that you want to do really well.
Yes.
I think whether it's sports, concerts, commercials, every time that you do a shoot, I read this in a book one time and it really stuck with me. And we do this after all of our shoots. We write, and we do this after every launch of the DCA. Anytime we sell something, it's like, what went really well? What went poorly? How can we learn from it? And this document should always be getting bigger and more in depth and more detailed for the things you do. So then you could teach someone else how to do it.
Yes.
Because it's really pointless if it all lives up in your head and you can't tell someone, hey, we're shooting an interview. It should be a 3-light setup. Here are the lights. We already have them. Here are the settings. Like, don't mess this up. And so then eventually you can start to pull yourself out of every single task.
It's funny because he was talking about how there's certain things that he felt as though he couldn't really teach it. It's like no system. It's like I shoot the show and it's just my brain. I can't copy and paste my brain or my taste.
That one in particular though, for him and at least for when I was shooting sports, like I don't know if you could teach it. Like I get what he's saying. It's like there's a way in a body language that you have to be able to read when you're shooting someone like that or a high caliber athlete to where if they get blown out by 30, they don't want to do a walk-off TikTok, man. You don't want to be like, hey, dude, can we just pull you for a second? Like, we just got blown out by 30, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think there's just something with like energy that you got to be able to read on how a person's feeling.
Something I wanted to bring up during the episode, but I'll bring it up now. Danilo Lewis, before I ever shot my first ever show for Loud Luxury, I've shared this story before earlier on. So if you've been listening to the pod for a while, you know about this. But Danilo was the only person in the music space who I had any sort of like mutual connection to.
I remember this. Yeah.
And so I called him up, and one of the pieces of advice he gave me, because he gave me a lot of his time and I'm always super thankful for that. But he goes, we could sit on the phone for 2 hours and I could tell you every single thing that I've learned in the music space. But at some point you just have to realize that it's a feel. Like you can't learn unless you do it.
Totally.
And I learned that as well through my time touring, is knowing when to have the camera out, anticipating moments, anticipating plays when you're shooting basketball, understanding how to navigate the green room, how to navigate the room with celebrities and family. Like shows, hometown shows are different than, shows when you're on the road at a festival or there's so many different situations, but it's such a feel.
Yeah.
And I remember when I shot EDC, I bumped into Danilo and he was so calm and I was shitting my pants because I was so fucking nervous.
He's like another day in the office.
Yeah. In my head, I was thinking, man, like, how is he so calm right now? He has like a drink in his hand, camera in the other hand. He's like walking with the artist. I'm like, dude, this guy's the coolest guy ever. But it really is such a feel thing. And similar to how building relationships takes time, getting really good at the craft, especially when it comes to music and sports. I see a lot of similarities in shooting both. But yeah, it takes a lot of time, and trust is really the most important thing. And that's what he brought up is, there's one thing to be able to get a cool shot, but can I trust you if I send you out with an artist that not only are you going to get the content, but are you going to make me look good? And that's what comes with building an agency when you're not just a one-man band show and just a tour videographer.
1000%. I also thought something that was interesting in terms of pricing, because we teach a cohort, right, a few times a year where we teach videographers how to basically make an agency and price hire.
Yeah.
And something that doesn't really matter regardless of the space, sports, concerts, whatever the heck the thing may be, you're limited by supply and demand. And what I mean by that is, let's say, you're in concerts and you're in a butt-fuck town in middle of nowhere, right?
Sure.
If you go to the concert hall, you're going to be able to get what? $150 for a show, $200, right? Okay. There's not a ton of demand there, right? As you get better, if you're in it for 8 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever, like you have years under your belt, you're really talented. You're super good at a specific thing. When you go and get a bigger opportunity, you have more leverage because the person is now wanting the thing that you have. They're like, I want that. Now the demand for it goes up. Now the supply is constrained because you're one singular person. The price can go up to, to fix this whole situation. So when I was starting out, every time I get a new job, I would start out, I remember like $500 or $300 or whatever it was. And then I'd be like, okay, now it's $700 and now it's $900. Until someone told me, no, that's too high. And I was like, well, maybe they're wrong. Maybe maybe another person would give me that. And then if they wouldn't, another time I'd be like, okay, maybe I need to adjust the rate because where I'm at right now, there's demand here, but the price is not working for me. So I need to lower my price a little bit and maybe I'll start getting booked again, which would happen. And same thing goes for now where we really don't have to compete on price for the most part. Like there might be a client where I'm like, they don't have as much money, but I really want to do this. We can lower our fee. But for the most part, we can command a premium because we create really good work and there's a lot of people that are involved. So think about that with whatever you're doing. If you're like, yo, I'm not booked right now. When I was in college, I wasn't booked. And I remember someone was like, I'll pay you $500 to do this. And in my head, I was like, my rate is now $850 or whatever. And I said no. Like I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I remember calling my cousin, Jeff, and he's like, that's the stupidest thing ever. You're not rich like that. You should do the $500 job. And I'm like, you're so right. That's so dumb. Called him back, said I was sorry. They're down. I was like, you know what? Some shit opened up. Nothing opened up. Did the video. It was great. And I learned something. But
just had a cancellation.
Just had a huge cancellation. And now the price is not $750. It's $500. And I'd love to do it, actually. I'd love to do it. But it's a great example, though, of wherever you're at in the game, in your business. It's like looking at, how booked are you? Do you need a little bit of bread for rent? Or are you fine? Have you been booked for $15K this month and you don't need anything else? Then the price can go up. You're like, it's double because I'm booked. It doesn't matter. Like, I think that is very important. There's not going to be a one size fits all for rate, and nor will you find it online. If someone's like, oh, what's your rate? Like, and you're building out packages for companies, it's going to change every single time.
I also think, going back to the trust thing, I think trust is also a huge component that allows you to charge more in whatever industry you're in.
Agreed.
I remember seeing a video randomly of this guy. He was in the Maldives. I forget what hotel he was at, but he was explaining, he goes, do you know why I get called back every single year to come shoot this hotel in the Maldives? He goes, there's so many people that would jump at the opportunity to shoot this, me fucking included. But he said, I'm able to charge a certain amount and they're bringing me back for the 7th year because they trust me that I can get the job done and I'm a pleasure to work with. And in a industry like music, where you're spending so much time with the artist, I was seeing Joe and Andrew more than I was seeing my family.
Yeah.
Because I was on the road with them so much.
Yeah, you want to be homies with the peeps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So specifically in the music industry, trust is so important because the artist has to trust that the artist has to trust you that you can get the shot. They also trust that you're going to be in the lobby to make it to the flight on time. And they trust that you're not going to act like a stupid fuck when a celebrity comes in the room and you can act calm, cool, and collected. So there's so much importance on trust, and it's this weird thing that you can't really measure. You get the opportunity by getting really good at your job, at shooting the content at first. You get the bigger opportunities, and then you build trust by executing when you do get those bigger opportunities. And Lanre, what's cool is he's now in a position where he so badly wanted the opportunity before he was on tour with Fisher. And he's like, I just need someone to trust me enough to come shoot one show. If I can shoot one show, I'm going to crush it and you'll probably want me on tour. And so now that he has the agency, he's able to put on younger artists. I love the story that he told about the kid,
the Colorado guy.
the iPhone Colorado kid. He's like,
beast.
Can I get a media credential?
Man, absolutely not, man. Get in the back of the bus. But yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool too, because that's something that you don't really realize when you start a company like that. You don't go in thinking like, oh, I'm going to create these opportunities. And because of the connections that he's built you get to put people on and give them opportunities that you probably couldn't have when you were first starting out, you know, but there's so much like young, really good talent out there.
It's also cool that he's built an agency because the music industry is such a grind. And most people are just freelancing and then they get burnt out and then they pivot. Or there's just certain photographers or videographers who they just love it so much and that's their life and they are freelancing and they're making, you know, a decent 6-figure income a year, but you're still so on like the hamster wheel. It's really cool that he's thought bigger. And he said that John Summit was really supportive.
It's cool.
Which is rare. Like,
yeah, I can't.
It's cool that he said that John even brought up the idea. He was like, I see myself in you. I knew that this was going to come and he was supportive in that, especially because
John seems rad.
He seems really cool. But yeah, especially when trust is so big, it's Lanre saying, trust me enough to bring somebody else on that's going to help us keep this vision intact and execute to the level that you want. But it's really awesome that Lanre has gotten to the point where he has taken himself, he's removed himself from like the day-to-day, week-to-week grind of what the music scene really is. And especially, there's different levels to touring, just like there's different levels to shooting sports. DJs is a different ball game. I mean, you're shooting so many shows and they're so late. Like if you go on tour with a country artist, completely different ball game because the show's over at 11.
That seems like a vibe.
You know,
that seems like the vibe.
The show starts at 11 with the DJs.
Yeah. This is a fun one. This is like very, very full circle. I hope you guys are liking the creators back in the game, dude. We're back in the pit, man.
What?
Back in the pit.
We're in the pit. We're front of house.
Front of house.
What else have you been working on?
Couple commercials. We shot a really cool thing. We rented an Alexa Mini. It's fun. Thing's heavy as shit. Dude, this is actually crazy. I'm gonna put you guys on. This isn't even paid. This isn't a paid ad. I rented this thing called the Mantis. It straps onto an easy rig. Okay. It's like an elastic thing. It's basically like you're paying for this like thing that attaches to the easy rig, and it's like this elastic cable. This thing saved my back. And
more so than just a regular easy rig?
Dude, the easy rig genuinely doesn't really do shit. If the camera's super, like it's not meant for, like it's good for the FX6. Once it gets heavier than that.
How much heavier was the Alexa Mini to the FX6?
The Alexa Mini was probably like 35 pounds, 40 pounds once it was rigged out with the glass and stuff. And the FX6 is maybe like 12 when it's all said and done. Maybe 15 with the monitor like max. The FX6 body is like very light.
And you haven't been that consistent in the gym. So the Alexa Mini was probably a little bit.
It was a little heavy for me. Yeah. I was trying to like, you know,
move
around. Dude, it's fucking heavy. You know how you know a camera's heavy? When you go to do heel toe and you're kind of like bouncing into your second foot. You're like, yo, like, there's a lot of weight around me right now. But it was great. It was honestly a really cool.
But this thing saved you.
Yeah, this thing saved my life. Oh
What's
my
it called?
It's called a Mantis.
Okay.
It's cool. I think this company called Blackbird, but it was great. Really cool. That was really fun. We rented some sick glass. I rented Cook Pancros. Oh my God, dude.
The lenses?
Oh my God, they're so sick. Yeah, they're like just gorgeous. They're from like, I think the 60s to the 70s. So they're super old school and they rehoused them to make them easier to use. And just such a difference in the fall off. See, when I'm looking at like Sony's, for example, like, and I like Sony, but it's digital looking.
Sure.
That shit looks digital, right? This shit looks like a movie. And it's the difference, I think, in the bokeh, like on your iPhone. It's like that fake bokeh.
Sure.
Sony looks obviously better than that, but it's similar. It's like still has like a digitally look. And then the bokeh fall off's a little different. It's not as like kind of dreamy. And I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it.
Just looks different.
Yeah, until you look at it and you can tell, oh, like that's what's going on. Even I was at Cine Gear this last weekend. There was a Chinese company that I can't remember the name of, but they had basically figured out, there was this one movie with Emma Stone this last year where she is like a Frankenstein kind of thing. Do you know which one movie I'm talking about? And this lens was like a swirl behind her.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe you guys will know what I'm talking about, but basically the bokeh makes like a circle around it.
Yes, I've seen that.
You've seen that. this Chinese company at Cinegear had made a lens that did the same shit.
I was always wondering how they achieved that effect, if it was in post or if it
No,
was
bro,
in
it's
camera.
like in the mechanical engineering of
Wow.
how they make the lens. So anyways, these guys had reverse engineered it, figured out how to do it. The lenses weren't crazy expensive either. They're like $2,500. I wish I knew the name of the brand, but they were showing them to me and I'm like, damn, bro, this, like, I see the differences now of these lenses that have character. They had, like, we were even checking out super even older glass that it looks different. Like,
Yes.
the older the lens, it not as sharp. It's a little more character in it comparatively to like a G Master where you want to like tack sharp. It's different, you know? So that was fun. And just a really great crew that we had on that. I'm really excited. We're like deep in the edit right now. Should be done with it like in a week and a half.
You could get into voice acting.
You think so?
You had a little voiceover on there?
That was just a placeholder, man. That's not going to be the real VO. But,
No, but it sounded good.
I appreciate it.
What did you record that on?
Phone.
iPhone. Wow.
Yeah. No Adobe podcast because Can we talk about that?
We got to talk about this.
This is
you guys.
bullshit. Adobe been training off our voices and shit and then say paywall. It should be included with Premiere, bro.
1,000%.
Adobe is
Okay, so-
Adobe's on some fucked up shit.
So
Seriously.
Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
In Premiere,
Okay.
you can enhance or auto enhance
The speech.
the audio.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as good for whatever reason as Adobe Podcast. Adobe Podcast, up until maybe a few weeks ago, you could have full control over it. Now they're charging you for it. You have like the default mode, which still sounds good.
Adobe pisses me off.
What the?
I'll tell you what.
What's going on, man?
Listen. So I went out. I was just on a shoot. We were on a little Venmo shoot in Washington, D.C. And one of my editors, shooter that we work with all the time, he's like, yo, I think you need to switch to DaVinci. And I bought DaVinci to color something like last year. I'm heavily debating it because I think this subscription shit is bullshit. I think the monthly thing is a bunch of shit. Like, I think that's whack. And I think that it should be $300 or $500. I get the model.
Sure.
I get the model. But I think as subscriptions on every single thing just keep adding up, it makes me less and less want subscriptions, especially now that we're paying for like seats. So you got other people that are...
Sure.
I don't like that. I would way rather have like, you buy the thing and it's done. And I also think that they really haven't updated it a ton. It's kind of bothering me. I think that he showed me his workflow in DaVinci and I was like, this is not hard. I also like the only thing that makes me not want to switch is this speed. And I'm just being a little bitch because I know that it probably will take like a week and then I'll have it down. You can also switch the keyboard on DaVinci to Premiere. So I would do that. But I'm like heavily debating switching over. And you guys let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. But everyone that I talked to that has switched has really liked it.
I have DaVinci. I bought it. The reason I bought it is because they have an incredible denoiser built in. And I was using the A1 to shoot a music video.
I remember this.
And I thought that the dual native ISO on the A1 was 12.8.
It's not.
But it's actually 4,000.
It's great.
So I shot everything at 12.8 because it was at night and it was so grainy.
Damn. But it helped a lot.
And it helped. Like, it saved it. To the point where, like, the client didn't even say anything. Which is insane. But it interprets the color or the actual image different.
He was telling me that.
You can get a better, different look off of or in DaVinci than Premiere. I don't know enough about color to be able to
talk about the science.
Yeah, but
I'm switching over. I think
you've decided.
Yeah,
it's gonna take you a little longer.
I'm not gonna do it until I have like a week of nothing.
Sure,
because I need to just be.
So
home.
You're never doing.
So I'm never doing it, but I'm gonna do it.
When's the last time you had a week of nothing?
Nothing, never. But in between a job starting, I'm going to sit down for like probably 72 hours. He told me it just took him one video. I trust him because that's how Premiere. I vividly remember going from Final Cut to Premiere. Wish I would have just stuck with Final Cut, to be honest, and not paid and just called it off into the sunset. Because Final Cut's easy to learn, bro.
This is my experience with DaVinci. There's been a few times where I've used DaVinci, and then by the end of the video, I get it.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't open up DaVinci for another while.
And then,
so then I'm like, fuck, I
what was
forgot.
The thing? Yeah.
But I think that if I was just to make the jump, you would just understand exactly how DaVinci works. But speaking about camera stuff,
Tell me. Dude, I tried at Venice this weekend.
Again, you what?
I tried at Venice this weekend. Oh my God, it's so sick.
Well, this is interesting that
Sorry.
you brought up a Venice because
Okay.
it's Sony, and once again, you did not get the invite to Sony Cando, but your boy's back. Your boy got the invite to Sony Cando after being away. Didn't get the invite last year. They realized they were missing something. I heard Sony Cando was so bad last year, and they came together and they said,
what was missing?
What was missing?
Yeah.
They said, definitely not Braden, but Costas is the reason.
What I think happened is it's like a B team situation. So
No,
I
dude.
feel like they've already sent out emails and then they're like, oh,
it was the A team.
They're like, B team can come back.
It was the A+ team.
Costy's allowed to come back. And weird, because I think the thing is, I'm not like a content creator. They think of me as like a cine guy. So that's why I feel like
you're making commercials.
So I'm making commercials and shit. So I'm when I went, I talked to the Venice sales guy. I go, yo, how do I gotta kiss ass to get a Cando? And he kind of looked down on me like,
oh, you want to go to Cando?
You want to go to Cando? It's like for the content creator guys. And I was like, no, man, I want to buy a Venice. So like, am I in the right place? And
If I'm not mistaken,
he shook my hand.
If I'm not mistaken, the reason you went to Cine Gear was to try to make content in exchange for product for these film companies, right?
I'm not a content creator. All right.
What do you consider yourself?
Something, dude. Something. But I asked him about whose ass do I actually have to kiss. I said that and he laughed and he's like, this is cinema stuff, man. We're talking about the Venice too, okay? He's like, Cando guys, that's the alpha team over there. And I was like, okay, I'll go talk to them in a little bit. The booth was busy, dude. But what I was going to say about this Sony Venice is crazy. They have a connector now that they built that converts it to 65 millimeter. You should see this, dude. The sensor is the size of a bus. It's the biggest thing I've ever seen. It's crazy. Damn. But they also had this really cool thing. This is not new. It's called the Rialto. And it's basically like an extension of the Venice sensor.
Yeah, Jordan was telling us about
he had the Rialto. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, imagine having an FX3 size little deal, right? They had a motion crane thing and it was just going around this dartboard. Like it was going like this around the mic, like crazy shit.
So they had a whole setup so you could see the cameras in action.
They got good shit. Dude, Sony had a great booth. Okay, let me tell you. Let me kiss a little ass for Sony real quick. They had like a Western themed booth, which they did last year. Same shit as last year, but it was still cool. And then they have their whole lineup of cameras around it. So then you can go up to FX3,
and compare.
FX3, FX6, Burano, Venice 2, and just kind of check them out.
And wait, is the Venice or Venice 2, it's nicer than the Burano?
Correct. The Burano is like 30 grand. The Venice 2 is like 100. The Burano, I don't know really why they made the Burano. I guess like the in-between from a 6 or an FX9 to a Venice 2. It's like kind of, you're getting into it. You're spending a shit ton of money. I don't think it's that much different than the FX6.
Speaking of Cando, because...
Not getting the invite. Yeah, what do you
It's a bummer that you're not there, but do you think that they're finally going to release the FX3 Mark II?
If they're smart, if they're intelligent, they will. I think that camera seems dope. I don't need it, but it seems dope. And
the Mark II?
Yeah. Like I genuinely with all my heart think that all the cameras that are out right this second, unless you're trying to shoot a movie, you never need to buy something that is different. Like if you have a C70 level of camera, FX3 level of camera, whatever, that's all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need anything better. Like genuinely, you do not need anything better. Even it's funny because I was talking to a colorist friend and we were saying that like ton of the stuff right now that this person's getting is shot on like the Sony lines or like a C70 or C80, whatever. He's like, obviously he loves the nicer Kodak or whatever, but he's like, it's just what shit's being shot on right now. And it's easier, faster, less space. I mean, shit. That was one thing that I was talking to the Sony guy about. I was like, dude, this like, it actually doesn't create the craziest, biggest file size, which is pretty cool. But I'm like, if you get this camera, it's not just, oh, I spent $100,000 on the camera. It's the cards that are okay, $2,000 on the cards. Oh, great. And then an extra because they're gonna break probably in a couple of years. They're gonna break. You need to have a backup. Sure. It's like you're just spending. You just get up the ladder. Oh, you want to buy a cage? It's $2,000 for the cage. Yeah. It's like every little thing is just knocked up. What I've realized about owning a production company is like the camera shit's like the wedding game, bro. It's all inflated. like all of it.
Dude.
These stands and shit shouldn't be $1,000, but at the same time, they last you like forever. I think if you go to the rental house, those stands have been there forever. They look like they're fossils, but they still work great. And I think that is the other thing about the film equipment shit. It's very expensive, but for the most part, that stuff shouldn't break. The camera shit breaks all the time. Cord, dude, I just had a cord break the other day, $200 cord. I've used it twice. Did I just rip ass on the pod?
Leaving it in.
Dude,
something's going on with Braden's stomach.
Dude.
You brought up
Tell me.
the wedding game.
Okay.
And I'm an open book here.
Okay.
You know?
Uh-huh.
You guys know I'm getting married.
Yeah.
I'm engaged. Was originally going to be getting married in North Carolina.
Okay.
Can't do that anymore. We met with the wedding planner.
Okay.
I think we had like a ballpark of what we thought this venue was going to cost.
Okay.
It was going to be way more. So we're pivoting. And I think,
boom,
Rocks, I think we're going to get married in Italy.
Oh.
We haven't locked in a new venue, but it's much cheaper to go abroad, which is really cool. And that was always like my dream. But for whatever reason, we decided to keep it here because we thought it would be easier for people to get to the wedding in North Carolina versus somewhere in Europe. But we're pivoting, and I think we're going to go abroad, which is exciting.
I'm stoked. We still have to plan the bachelor party.
We do. But
where are we going to go for that?
I don't know. I think maybe
we're like Josh Retreat.
Yeah, Josh Retreat. I think maybe somewhere tropical. Like I think it would be really cool to maybe go to like Costa Rica or
Costa Rica would be fun.
Or Cabo or El Salvador or something like that, where you get like a sick villa. It's not that expensive, and there's a lot of fun activities that we can do: ATVing, surfing,
big activity guys,
that kind of stuff. But speaking of Mexico,
okay,
I'm really excited because this week I got confirmation on 2 hotels for a coastal shoot, which will be super cool. And what I want to say about that is first shoots out of the US, which would be really sick.
Pretty dope.
We're international with it. And LinkedIn, underrated. I wasn't on LinkedIn for so long, and now I started connecting with marketing managers on LinkedIn. I'm telling you guys, if you're not using LinkedIn, it's the move. You've been preaching it forever.
Dude, you know what's crazy? You don't got to be big.
No.
You don't need a lot. Like, you don't need a lot. Bro, I had a video the other day get like 30 likes. Someone DM me off it. That's all you need. Like, you don't need 1,000. Like, everyone's, oh, you need tens of thousands on Instagram. Like, bro, that's the place. Also, everyone's content on LinkedIn for the most part sucks.
Sure.
You're going up, the bar is on the ground. So if you have any sort of creative ability, you wow the feed.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just doing text. It's also all written by AI. It's all dog shit content. So it's like one person actually saying real things that are helpful for a space. It's like, I like this. I'm gonna chat with them. Like, way easier.
Yeah.
You know? It's been good. I need to be more active on there. I feel like I'm not active enough, but
it's tough because
dude, it's tough to do 64 things.
It's tough to do 64 things. I have found that content performs so much better if it has some piece of
value.
Some piece of like a photo or a video to go along with it.
On LinkedIn. Agreed.
So you can do the written stuff.
If you're a good writer, I'm also like, I'm not the writer guy.
Yeah.
I write how I talk. It's not good.
But I think the play for LinkedIn is you don't need to stay crazy consistent on it, but
I think a couple posts a week.
Anytime, once a week, anytime you shoot something new, post it. You can post the final spot and maybe some BTS, share your thoughts about the shoot, whatever you did, and just start connecting with the people that can get you hired, whether it's the marketing managers or producers or DPs or agency owners, the people who you want to network with and connect with, they're on LinkedIn.
I know.
That's all I have to say.
This has been another epic episode of the 505 pod.
209.
209? Wow. Unbelievable.
We're getting up there.
Anything else to add?
I'm trying to think.
Dude, DM us some creators who you want us to have on the show.
We got some cool stuff coming up. We're running it back with a lot of with a lot of creators because
OG 505, man.
it's been like 3+ years since we've had some of these creators on,
Dude,
and
they've grown a lot.
the thing with the podcast is you're constantly wanting to get new guests, but some of the guests you guys love, and it's been enough time where it makes sense to have them on again.
Danny Geverts is
Mhm.
locked in for Thursday. On
Which is awesome.
Friday, Zachary Guy. He's on YouTube. DP. You guys know him. He's awesome. We also got Dom, the DP, had like NFL films,
Sick.
crazy cinematographer, shot all the NBA finals, Super Bowls, like elite.
Oh,
Dude, what?
we didn't talk about this. Another thing you didn't get an invite to. I went to Press Publish LA. Colin and
Yes.
Samir.
I kind of got an invite. It was a charity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was
You
working. I
guys-
was working.
You
and
guys, this is so
I was
funny.
working.
Man, do I just try to get you a +1 to everything? Dude, Braden had a shoot.
I had to shoot. I had a big shoot. I had to lock in.
Yeah,
I
man.
had to lock in.
But
I gotta tell you guys this story though before we go. Okay, listen to this. Book this location in Hollywood Hills. Okay,
Oh yeah.
this is actually insane.
The Hill.
After we booked the location, the guy who's the director dude who's organizing the house, he goes, "Yeah, by the way, I got this sociopathic neighbor who tows cars, and
Oh.
this is the day before, so it's not like we're gonna find a new spot.
Yeah.
I debated on like disputing it on my credit card and then saying like, unless you guys refund me type thing. But I was like, we won't have this, like the house was perfect. So I'm like, you've really fucked us. But I called him. I was like, you gotta understand that if you have a crew this large, you can't rent the house.
Yes,
Like
yes.
if this was a photo shoot, it's like 5 people, like sure. There's 20 something people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing? Like, what was like going?
Did anyone get their car towed?
No, because we parked. What we did, we parked at my house and had a PA shuttle everybody
Oh,
out
that's smart.
because we live close to the hills. Like, we're not very
Sure.
far away, so it's still like 5-minute
Uh-huh.
5-minute drive. So it wasn't a problem. But bro, I'm like, come on, like this is unbelievable.
Damn.
I'm about to, if we book a house anywhere like that, I'm gonna knock on the neighbor's doors. You know this guy? This guy cool? What's the vibe around here? Like, I'm not soliciting.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I mean, just unreal. But she went really well. So sick.
You want to, while we're just bullshitting, you want to hear a crazy neighbor story? Did I ever tell you about this?
No, growing up, or this is like,
Growing up, I was walking home
okay.
from the 3rd Street Promenade because I lived right up the street.
Okay.
Was walking home from a movie. We watched Bridesmaids. I was with
Daytime, nighttime.
nighttime. I was
Okay.
with 2 of my buddies. We were walking. Never seen more cop cars outside of a house, business,
Okay,
anything.
okay.
I'm talking like news. Walk by. I go, what's going on here?
Uh-huh.
They go, oh, they just caught Whitey Bulger. He's top 10 FBI most wanted. He's
Shut
been
up.
living here for like a year and a half.
No.
1 block
No.
down from my house.
What
I
did
grew
this
up
guy?
on.
What did this guy do though? Was it like murder or like fraud?
Do you know the movie,
There's
the
a
Johnny
movie?
Depp movie,
There's a movie about this guy?
Black something?
Let me find it.
I'm blanking on the name. Black something.
Let me see. Black Mass.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Anyways,
But
Johnny
sh-
Depp plays
Should I? This is the guy.
plays that character. But this guy was living for over a year.
Oh, he's a mobster.
Yeah.
James Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he's a mobster. That guy was a block away from you,
A block away.
dude. That guy was slinging drugs a block from
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys.
killing people.
Yeah, for sure. They were people tied up in the basement.
Anyways, fun story.
That's insane. Well, this has been an insane pod. Love you guys tons. We'll see you guys all next week. Banger episodes in the chamber. Get ready. Let's lock in. See you guys all next week. Peace.